So I did not set out to become a sex and relationships coach. And actually, the word coach has been sitting in a strange way with me recently. I think it's a helpful word to help people connect to what I offer, but I feel so much more connected to a kind of deeper spiritual accompaniment. And I don't really believe in like achieving goals. I think hearts and healing and bodies are far more gorgeously unruly than that, and that time is far less linear than that. And so I look at what I do as more akin to something like chaplaincy than like being a personal trainer. And I'm so delighted and grateful that this calling really found me. As I said, I was not seeking it out at all. I was raised in a deeply fundamentalist evangelical Christian context, and like many queer and trans people, experienced a lot of spiritual violence within that. And so my journey from shame to celebration has been really epic. And of course, it's a journey that I'll always be on, around shame to celebration and composting dominant scripts of who and how we should be together, who and how we should love. And I have always been pretty open and vocal about my learnings. And so it was about 15 years ago that I shifted away from fundamentalist evangelical framework to a different, I would say, more expanded version of a worldview. And I, about 10 years ago, I know this sounds extreme, but about 5 to 10 people per week were reaching out to me about for sex advice, essentially. Anything from herpes scares to gender complexity to somebody who's a woman really wanting to flirt with other women but feeling shy and not knowing how, to navigating ethical non-monogamy, navigating conflict or different pleasure needs within relationship. And I really really was feeling into how to hold with great care that I'm flagged as someone who it feels safer to talk to about these things that often don't feel that easy to share about. And I wanted to hold with great sacredness that which others were seeing in me, and at the same time was feeling into what boundaries I needed around that. And so, about 10 years ago, a couple of folks who were reaching out to me consistently were already offering some financial exchange for that. And thus, my coaching practice was born in a very build the ship while sailing way. And I dove deep into study with peers, with mentors, attending every conference and workshop that I could for 5 years, pretty much only read and listened about sex and relationships. And still, for the first couple years, really, um, I would feel a kind of panic before each session, like I have nothing to offer. And then, time and time again, folks would reflect back to me that they experienced some profound healing through the course of our work together. And my practice grew by pretty much only word of mouth, folks telling other folks that they had had a transformative experience here. And I don't believe in experts. I just don't. I trust the tools and perspectives that I have cultivated and really given a lot of care to tending to be able to offer. And also, everyone I work with is the expert of their own heart and their own body and their own needs. And I truly believe that everyone, that you are already whole, that you have all the wisdom that you need, and also that all of us need others. I think, or at least I do, need others sometimes to hold soft, brave space so that my wisdom can flow through more freely and loudly. And so it is my intention in this practice to hold that soft, brave, loving space for anyone who works with me so that we may co listen each person's wisdom into deeper fullness. And I have been growing a lot in the past 5 years in terms of trauma informed somatic practices to invite body and intuition wisdom. Even though what we do is mostly talk based, it feels really, really important to me to invite those other wisdoms here. And I have also, in the past 5 years, been growing a lot in conflict transformation tools and um, it's such an honor to work with everyone who I work with, and it's been extra fulfilling lately to support couples and beyond in relationship. And I really treasure the depth that one-on-one work can open up. And ultimately, I believe in healing and learning within community the most. And so, starting about a year ago, but now expanding, um, I am building out a lot of my community coaching practices, both to be more financially accessible to folks who may want to work with me, and also to lean into that belief of mine or that knowing of mine about the kinds of growth and the kinds of opening that can happen most fruitfully in community support.